Let's turn our attention to McDonald's, who've submitted an appeal after its plans for a new drive-thru restaurant next to a nature reserve in Tongham were rejected. Last July, Guildford Borough Council said that no to a building right next to the fuel station at Tongham Services on Blackwater Valley Road. The fast food giant wants to open an outlet on land next to Tice's Meadow Nature Reserve. These people in Badshot Lee and Tongham have told our reporter Julia Gregory they don't want it.
I'm against it all. We've got enough. We can't get in and out. The infrastructure is really, really bad around here. So we don't want no building, no through roads, nothing. We've had enough.
Are you worried about it because it's near a nature reserve?
Absolutely. I go through it every day, twice a day. We need to protect it. We fought very, very hard last year and we won it. Now stay away and leave us alone.
It's right next to the nature reserve and they worked very hard to make that a reserve. So it's the wrong place for it.
Well, there's a McDonald's about 1.5 miles down the road that is usable and I don't see point for another one. It's near a nature reserve and it's just not necessary.
And what would your fear be about McDonald's being there?
There'll be more litter left lying on the road, like there is in town.
I mean, they've already got a McDonald's a couple of miles down the road. I don't see why they need a second one. And it's a beautiful, natural spot, so it doesn't seem necessary to build a second McDonald's. We know that the cars, the amount of visitors that we were getting, people will be throwing rubbish over into the fields. And it's just not pleasant for the environment to have that many extra visitors and cars.
I don't think there's a need for another McDonald's that close to the one which is literally a mile up the road. And the problem is there's a nature reserve at the back of it which needs to stay as a nature reserve that could potentially be affected by the new McDonald's. Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? Hearing all of those voices. Let's hear another one. Chris Jackman is a member of Tice's Meadow Bird Group. Morning to you, Chris.
James, how are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Why are you and others opposed to McDonald's at Tongham Services?
James, there are lots of reasons, and I'll give you kind of my main ones. I mean, you said a second ago that this is right next to the nature reserve. I mean, let's be very clear. The whole site sits within a site of nature conservation interest. And I'm still kind of failing to see that acknowledged anywhere. We get kind of the mission creep, so to speak. You know, there's already a service station there with a Starbucks. Why not put a McDonald's there? I mean, that's not the point, is it? But the point is this is a special area. There's a loss of a green buffer, significant visual harm, and everything else that you hear from members of the public.
Right. For those of us who don't know, look, I know the services, but I don't really know Tice's Meadow very well behind it. What's it like?
It's wonderful, James. It's really wonderful. I mean, some headline figures for you. 79 priority species and 68 protected species have been recorded within a kilometre of this site. So it's not just putting it onto an area that's kind of sitting there barren. That site wouldn't have been kind of, completely grassed and like it is now had the service station done what it was meant to do, which was put in an amenity and picnic area. Then it would have been a really nice buffer and link between the built-up site that's there and the nature reserve.
Right. Were you surprised that McDonald's have appealed this?
I am. The voices of over 8,200 people have been ignored by this. The cost of the public purse, has been ignored. And people aren't just saying we don't need another McDonald's because there's four along the kind of edge of the Blackwater Valley Road. But it's so much more than that, James. That people have said do not want it. You get the odd person, of course, saying absolutely, why not? But this isn't about why not. This is that site should have been turned into a picnic and amenity area for the buffer between the service station and Tice's Meadow that people fought very hard to save.
Well, it's interesting, Julia, out in Tongham, getting people's thoughts there. And, everyone pretty much united saying, no, don't want it. How confident are you that the planning inspectorate will back your view and not allow it?
This is going to be an important test, James, about whether our planning system protects nature or gives in to corporate convenience. There's lots of talk. McDonald's reduced the size of the illuminated sign. It was going to be 12 metres, and they said they'll reduce it to 7 metres. But putting a 7-metre glowing sign in the middle of, effectively on a site of importance, it's out of place. We end up with Blackpool on the Blackwater.
Interesting. So what's next? Can you fight this anymore? How do you keep this sort of bubbling away?
I think keeping this in the public, at the forefront of people's minds, getting people to write into the planning inspectorate as part of the kind of call for information, and just making sure people's voices are heard. Because at the end of the day, as elected representatives, whatever party, whatever council, we're here to support residents. And I think the residents have been extremely, extremely loud on this.
Good talking to you. I imagine the whole place at the moment is looking. Look, we're waiting for spring to really pop through, aren't we, at the minute? But how wet is it at Tice's Meadow at the minute?
It's wet. It's been a wet start to the year, as it has done all around the country. And we are waiting for it to bloom. But we've got to remember that during the winter months and the spring months, actually, these places are just as important because you've got stuff hibernating. That there's just so much going on. And can I just have one more thing in? And that's about litter, because a lot of this comes down to litter. We've got some great community groups who litter pick, Life Not Litter, lots of people in the area. And McDonald's have made clear that they'll promise to litter pick within a 150-metre radius of the McDonald's being put in. But, James, that's not going to be enough, because there's no access to the nature reserve. The main roads, the lakes, what are we going to be doing with this? It's all right keeping a forecourt clean. What are we going to be doing right into the reserve?
Good talking to you.
To do even more.
Appreciate you coming on this morning. We did ask McDonald's to comment several times. We've had no response, but we also asked Guildford Borough Council for an interview. They said no one was available. They did send this statement. We refused McDonald's planning application. On the 9th of July 2025, the applicant has submitted an appeal to the Secretary of State, and the Planning Inspectorate will lead this appeal. The date for the appeal hearing yet to be confirmed. Want to read more? We've got more online right now, bbc.co.uk/Surrey. We'll take